I've been hearing the same sentence over and over lately, not just from women in my inbox or in the DMs, but from women on calls, in coaching sessions, and in kind of these side quiet comments. And it usually sounds something like this: I'm ready, but I don't want to do this like I've done it before. Sound familiar? They're not saying I'm not motivated. They're not saying like I just don't care anymore. They're not even saying like I don't know at all what to do. It's more specific than that. It's like this cautious, discerning sort of comment. And frankly, I think it's wise. So I want to talk about that today because I don't think this hesitation is actually a problem to fix. I know that's what a lot of people will tell you, but it's something worth noticing because it's not that you're afraid of effort. Women do hard things. The women I work with have raised families, they've built amazing careers oftentimes. They have pushed through exhaustion like more times than they can count. So when a woman tells me, I don't want to start something I can't sustain, I don't read that as fear. I read that as experience. What they're really saying to me is, I don't trust another system that requires me to like override or ignore my body. And that makes sense because a lot of the old way, and I put air quotes around that, did exactly that. Most approaches women were given earlier in life and still today were built on a few assumptions. Here they are, some of them. They are built on the assumption that you had all this predictable energy, you didn't have many responsibilities, you could recover really fast, and that you have a body that's going to respond if you just push hard enough. So the strategy was, and a lot of times still is, be stricter, be more consistent, be more disciplined. And for a while, when we were younger, I admit that kind of worked, or at least it felt like and it looked like it did. But midlife changes the conditions. Stress is higher. Your emotional load is so much heavier. Recovery is completely different. Your nervous system has so much less tolerance for the constant pressure and bullshit. It's unreal. So when women try to go back to like that old playbook, their body now resists. And instead of questioning the strategy, you question yourself. Here's what women will tell me. They think like, there's something wrong with me. Why can't I just do what I used to do and make this work? Why does everything have to feel so damn hard? Right? There is nothing wrong with you. I say that all over and over and over. You're just not willing to betray your body and your life anymore to prove you're committed. And that's great. That's something I see constantly in coaching. And frankly, it's subtle. Like women will say, I was doing fine, and then I just kind of fell off. So what we do is slow that down. And we almost always find a moment before that, and not like a binge or a bad choice, not like this dramatic spiral. It's usually something that feels and is super normal, like a stressful week. That moment could be you had to have a hard conversation. It could be being tired, holding too much. And in that moment, her brain goes into fix it mode. Things like I need to tighten this up. I need to make a change. Should I be more disciplined now? Is that what it is? I can't let this turn into a thing. And so she pushes, but what she doesn't realize is that her body was already stressed before she decided to push harder. So now she's asking an overloaded system to perform even better under more stress and wondering why everything suddenly feels impossible. That's not a motivation problem. Sister, that is a capacity problem. And most plans, I dare say all of them out there, that they don't address it. And there's something important to want to slow down here and talk about it, because I don't want you to confuse this. I don't want you to think, okay, I think I'm scared, or I think I'm self-sabotaging. I think I'm avoiding. But when we actually look at it together, when I'm coaching a woman, that's not what's happening. What I'm seeing more and more is discernment, not fear. And those two things feel very different in the body. Listen, fear is loud. It's chaotic. It rushes you. It sounds like, what if I never figure this out? You hear the panic in that? What if I'm running out of time? You hear the chaos in that? I should just pick something. I should be decisive. Discernment is quieter and it's steadier. It doesn't panic you, it draws a line. Discernment sounds like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not willing to ignore what I need anymore. If I start, it has to be different. And here's the part that really matters. Most women have been taught to override and ignore discernment and call it fear. So you're encouraged to push past it, to hustle, to grind, to do the hard thing. And they commit to approaches that their body already knows won't work when they're put in that position. And then when it falls apart, they blame themselves. But when a woman says, I'm ready, but I don't want to do it that old way, that's not hesitation. That's intelligence catching up with your experience. And if you ignore that voice, you don't get momentum, you get burnout. And I see it all the time. This is the part that I really want women to hear, because I do see it so much. Readiness in midlife is not loud. It doesn't come as this big announcement like, oh, I'm all in and I'll do whatever it takes. If I can eat grass and get it done, I'll do it. It sounds more like, listen, I'm willing, but I'm not willing to break myself again. I'm not willing to put myself at the bottom of the list. And that's not resistance. That is you developing self-trust. See, real readiness now looks like wanting strategy instead of a bunch of pressure, wanting support and the right kind of support instead of relying on willpower, wanting something that adapts to your life instead of you trying to fit it in around what you have to do. See, it's quieter, it's steadier, and it lasts longer. And doing it that way, starting doesn't mean you have to go in all in overnight. It doesn't mean you have to like white knuckle consistency. It doesn't mean proving you're serious by suffering. That no pain, no gain stuff is bullshit. Starting this way means choosing an approach that respects your nervous system and your midlife metabolism, learning how to respond when life gets messy, and replacing urgency with clarity. And for a lot of women, that is a huge missing piece. They don't need a bunch more information. People come to me overwhelmed by the amount of information. They need a different relationship with stress and sleep and self-correction. They need a way to create that steadiness in their life that works on stopping the cycle of starting over and over and over. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh my God, I want change, but I don't want to do it that old way either, I want you to hear this clearly and loudly. That does not mean you're not ready. It means you've learned enough to know what does not work anymore and you're sick of it. And that discernment is not something to ignore or to override. That is something to trust. You don't have to rush to clarity. You don't have to prove readiness by pushing harder. And you don't have to betray your body to move forward and make progress with your health and your goals. Sometimes the most powerful shift isn't starting faster, it's starting smarter. Just ask any of my clients about that. Okay, that's it. That's what I have for you today. Thanks so much for being here with me. I really appreciate your time. I love having these conversations with you, and I will meet you right back here same place next time.